Jordan pressed Bethany down on the bed, his lips leaving hers and sliding down her neck, penetrating every inch of her skin. Each of his kisses left marks on her slender shoulders, making Bethany let out small sounds, like invitations, like needles pricking at his last bit of control. Hello everyone, welcome to our channel, where we will bring you the most interesting and dramatic stories in life. It will take the audience from one surprise to another. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any episodes. If you love Jane, you can go to the playlist to find Jane's other channels. In today's video, we will bring to you the story With Ms. Absent Husband. Please watch. Bethany's panic made Jordan even more anxious. In this riverside hamlet, there was only one house every few hundred meters, so even if she screamed all night, no one would be able to help. Bethany was so lucky to meet Jordan, who came to her rescue. He quickly ran to the well, scooped up large buckets of water to pour on the kitchen roof. Luckily, the fire was extinguished after only 10 minutes. Bethany was glad that the fire did not cause too much damage, while Jordan collapsed from exhaustion. Bethany, her face blackened by dust from the fire, came to him and thanked him profusely. "Oh my God, thank God. Thank you so much. Thank goodness you helped, otherwise this house would have burned down." Jordan smiled and replied, "It's nothing, sister. I was fishing in the river and saw something was wrong, so I rushed in to help. Luckily, only part of the roof was burned, otherwise it would have been very dangerous." Bethany continued emotionally. "It was fate that you appeared at the right time of trouble. If you weren't here today, I would have just stood there watching the fire burn." Bethany invited Jordan into the house. "Come in so I can get you some water." "Oh my gosh, you're really our savior. But you look strange, like you're not from this village." Jordan replied, "I'm from the village above. I often go down here to fish. I'm dirty. You can let me sit outside, I'll go right away." Jordan sat back on the steps, facing the kitchen to avoid looking directly at Bethany. When Bethany was helping him with the water, her body was soaked, her clothes stuck to her upper body. She wasn't wearing a bra, so her curves were exposed. He was embarrassed, tried to look away, and asked to break the silence. "Where is your husband and children? Is there no one at home? Are you suffering like this all by yourself?" Bethany sighed. "My husband and eldest son go fishing at sea, only coming home once every 2 months. I'm old and alone. I was just boiling water in the yard, so I didn't notice it because I was so busy working, and the fire spread to the pile of firewood without me noticing. Luckily, I met you." Jordan smiled and replied, "It's nothing, sister. I was fishing in the river and saw something was wrong, so I rushed in to help. Luckily, only part of the roof was burned, otherwise it would have been too dangerous." Bethany continued emotionally, "It was fate that you appeared at the right time of trouble. If you weren't here today, I would have just stood there watching the fire burn." Bethany invited Jordan into the house. "Come in so I can get you some water. Oh my gosh, you're really our savior. But you look strange, like you're not from this village." Jordan complimented, "You look so young. I didn't think you were so old. I'm 8 years younger than you." Bethany laughed. "You look young. Whoever marries you must have cultivated for several lifetimes, tall, handsome, and kind." Hearing the compliment, Mr. Jordan smiled happily. He stood up and said, "If you live alone like this all the time, you should move into the village. If something happens here, who will help you? As for the roof, if you can't find anyone to help you, I'll come over in a few days to fix it." Bethany was delighted. "That would be great. If you come over to help me, I'll take care of everything properly. Around here, my husband keeps arguing with the neighbors and can't get help from anyone. I really want to move, but my husband says this is our ancestral land and I can't go anywhere." Jordan nodded and went to the well to get the clothes he had just washed and put them on. Before leaving, he told her, "Change your wet clothes or you'll catch a cold. I'll come over in 2 days." Bethany looked down at me. Even she was startled. She blushed and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was so careless. I was so scared that I didn't notice what I looked like. I'm so embarrassed." Jordan left, but Bethany's fiery image kept lingering in his mind. Jordan himself never thought that Bethany was deliberately provoking him, but just thought that it was because of her personality, so he didn't pay much attention. This paragraph adds the paragraph 3 days later he came to help at home. 3 days later, Jordan returned to Bethany's house to fix the roof. After drinking some water, he stood up and started working. He worked on the top while Bethany was on the bottom, passing tiles. Whether it was intentional or not, Bethany's shirt was too low cut, and from Jordan's position above, he could see all of her smoothness and fullness. The images that came into his eyes made him very embarrassed. He thought to himself, "If I keep going like this, where will I get the mind to work?" Not only that, Bethany deliberately raised her arms, revealing her slim waist, making Jordan even more excited. Bethany kept asking and probing questions. "Jordan is really good. He can do everything. His wife and children will surely benefit from this." Bethany continued, "My husband is only good at fishing. He is very clumsy at these things. He has nothing to do but has to do everything himself." Jordan replied, "My wife passed away a few years ago and I'm alone. My son is in his junior year of apprenticeship." Hearing that, Bethany was startled, her face showing surprise. But deep inside, she felt very happy. "Why don't you find a woman to keep you company? It's so sad to be alone like this. Life needs both men and women to be happy." Jordan smiled softly. "I really want to, but I can't find anyone. You look like that, but you're very picky." Bethany smiled charmingly. "Oh well, if you don't like it, that's fine. But looking at you like this, I like everything. Even an old woman like me would be moved by you, not to mention young girls." She added, "I'm telling the truth. Try to find someone. Having someone to keep you company at night, to confide in each other, is the only way to relieve the pressure. Look at me all alone. Sometimes I want this and that but can't get it. I just have to endure it. So sometimes I'm grumpy and unpleasant." Understanding what Bethany meant, Jordan joked, "I thought only men needed to relieve stress, but it turns out you women also want that." Bethany laughed. "Boys and girls are all the same. Sometimes women are even stronger than men." She continued, "So you're really going to stay here alone?" Jordan nodded. "Yes, I'm still alone." Bethany looked at him regretfully. "That would be a waste. You look so tall and strong, but if you keep it like that, it will be ruined later. Do you need me to introduce you to a lady?" Jordan replied with a smile as he did so. Bethany just smiled, as if she had discovered something. Her eyes were still glued to Jordan's toned body. The hot sun made him shirtless, wearing only shorts. The bulging veins on his body made her feel shy, but couldn't control herself. It had been a long time since her husband had come home, and now, seeing such a handsome man, she was no longer sober enough to control her words. "If you can't find a wife to live with, then try to find a girl to share your loneliness with," Bethany continued. Jordan replied, "I'm looking for it too. Sooner or later it will come. How can I stay like this forever?" Bethany asked directly, "So, do you find me pleasing to the eye?" The question made Jordan pause. He was surprised by Bethany's directness and boldness. He had thought only of coming here to help fix the roof and had not thought of anything else. Still, the question confused him. He thought to himself, "You look so beautiful. Great. Your story is engaging and dramatic. Here is a spelling and grammar fix that keeps the content of your script intact while adding a few small details to make the story more vivid and engaging. At this age, you are still fresh, beautiful, and have a well-proportioned figure. Not to exaggerate, but you look more outstanding than girls in their late teens and early 20s. Bethany smiled and continued to probe. So do you like the way I look at you? Jordan smiled shyly. Who wouldn't like you when you're this beautiful? It's just that I don't dare dream about you. After fixing the roof, Jordan went to the well to take a bath. Bethany stood in the yard, her eyes fixed on his figure. Seeing her standing there, he shyly said, "Come in and let me take a bath. I'm embarrassed to see you standing here." Bethany smiled. "The more I look at you, the more familiar I feel. Maybe we were husband and wife in our previous life." "It's okay. Bethany always said I'm easygoing." She told Jordan, "Just lie down here." Before she could say another word, she pushed Jordan onto the bed, gave him a pillow, and went to the kitchen to cook. Lying in his room, Jordan was restless. He had never felt like this before. The scent from Bethany's room made him sob, arousing his need. The bed had not been cleared for a long time, and her panties were left exposed at the end of the bed, making him pay more attention. Lying down to rest, his mind wandered, unable to stop thinking. Jordan began to imagine himself caressing Bethany. Just thinking about it made him happy. He had never thought that he would make love to a woman older than him, but Bethany made him think. In the kitchen, Bethany was busy cooking, smiling as she worked. In her mind, she was calculating what to say and how to act to make Jordan please her. She didn't want to let go of this prey, a rare opportunity, and a quality product at that. Thinking about Jordan lying in her room, she was delighted. She kept pacing back and forth, feeling uneasy because of the waiting. Finally, the meal was over. The two of them sat down to eat happily, talking about one thing after another. Bethany skillfully flirted and brought up stories that gradually drew Jordan in. Jordan was not to be outdone, responding with words full of agreement, making the atmosphere even closer. It was unknown why the two of them got along so well. They had only met for 2 days, but it felt like they had known each other for a long time. Jordan, sitting in front of a beautiful woman like Bethany, became weaker. He no longer appeared as shy and dignified as before. He thought to himself, "It would be a waste to miss such a golden opportunity." Bethany kept on coquettishly inviting, "My husband works far away. I'm the only one at home like this. If I don't try it, it's a waste." Her eyes glanced back and forth flirtatiously. Her hand gently caressed her white thigh as if inviting Jordan. "After dinner, stay and rest. Come back in the afternoon. Stay with me for a while. I have something to talk about," she continued. Jordan smiled. "You have to go home. I can't keep bothering you here." "So what do you want to talk to me about? Just tell me. I'll share it with Bethany. You're very perceptive. If you don't stay with me today, I'll be angry, and I won't see you again." After cleaning up the dishes, she took them to wash. In her mind, the image of Jordan lying in the room, his muscular body kept appearing, making her feel sick. After cleaning up, she took a shower and chose a thin, cool, knee-length nightgown. Inside, she deliberately wore nothing to go braless. Feeling inspired, she walked into the room where Jordan was lying, crossing her arms excitedly over her forehead. Bethany sat on the edge of the bed and looked at Jordan for a long time. Her face was sweet, her eyes caressing. Jordan saw that and joked. "So you're not wearing an undershirt? Why are you leaving it hanging like that? It might fall off." Bethany laughed. "It's so hot. Wearing too much is uncomfortable. Leaving it like this will keep you cool, but there's no one else here, only you. If it falls, you can pick it up for me, right?" Jordan said nothing. He sat up, got off the bed and moved closer to her. In the silence, the tension, the world around him disappeared, leaving only the soft scent of her skin and the pounding of his heart. He didn't need any more words. Jordan pulled Bethany into his arms, his lips finding hers in a passionate kiss. Her lips were soft and sweet, but also controlled, as if she knew exactly what she was doing. Bethany returned his kiss, not rushing, but not refusing either. Her hands tangled in his hair, pulling him closer. Her breathing mingled with his, and Jordan could no longer contain himself. His hands slid to her waist, pulling her closer. Bethany didn't resist, just closed her eyes and let him guide her. In the darkness of the room, they rushed at each other like two madmen, swept away by a never-ending torrent of desire. Jordan pushed Bethany onto the bed, feeling as if all the long-suppressed desires were finally released. He was no longer himself, just a hungry beast, looking for every way to possess and possess her. His fingers slid across her smooth skin. Each kiss rushed down to her neck, shoulders, and deeper. The soft sounds from Bethany's throat echoed in the darkness, full of sensuality, but also containing a mysterious control, as if she had everything in her hands. Jordan tightened his grip on Bethany, pulling her into his arms with all the pent-up desire. His lips found hers, kissing her passionately like someone finding water in the desert. Their kiss was no longer gentle or reserved, but burning like a fire bursting from desire. Bethany responded to the kiss with equal enthusiasm, her soft lips melting with each kiss. Urgently, his hands roamed her body, exploring every curve as if to engrave it in his mind. He felt her cool skin under his fingers, heating up with desire. Bethany shivered slightly, her breathing becoming rapid as his hands moved down, gliding over her slim waist and then tightening around her hips, pulling her closer to him. She did not resist. Her soft body melted into his, accepting every lead without hesitation. The atmosphere between them was thick with long-suppressed desire. All principles and limits were broken in that moment, leaving only two people rushing into each other, as if this was the last time they could live in uncontrolled passion. Jordan pressed Bethany down on the bed, his lips leaving hers, sliding down her neck, gradually penetrating every inch of her skin. Each of his kisses left marks on her slender shoulders, causing Bethany to let out small sounds, like invitations, like a needle pricking his last hold. Jordan. Bethany whispered, her breath ragged as the ecstasy flooded her body. But Jordan didn't answer. He leaned deeper, greedily taking every part of her body like he couldn't stop. His fingers slid down her spine, feeling every subtle reaction as her skin quivered under each touch. She wrapped her arms around his neck, pulling him down as if she wanted them to become one, no longer having any space between them. The scent of her body, faintly scented with perfume, made Jordan's mind dizzy. He didn't know where he was, nor did he care what awaited them after tonight. Only this moment was all, a moment he couldn't let go, even though he knew it would have unforeseen consequences. They were wrapped tightly around each other, their movements becoming more and more urgent and wild. Their hurried breathing mixed together, filling the quiet room. In that moment, Jordan was no longer himself, just a man lost in a fairy world, losing all control over the woman in front of him. Bethany didn't say another word, just closed her eyes and let him take over every part of her body. Her hand slipped into his hair, pulling him closer, as if afraid that if she let go, this moment would disappear. In the thick darkness, they were wrapped around each other, their bodies tightly pressed together like two people clinging to each other in a flood. Every breath, every touch was like fire burning away any remaining reason. The room seemed to transform into another world, a world only theirs, where there was no right or wrong, no tomorrow, only tonight, and the dream of the limitless ninth cloud. Finally, when everything reached its climax, both of them collapsed on the bed, exhausted, relaxing. Jordan's limbs went limp, and he held Bethany, his breathing still heavy. She rested her head on his chest, her breathing gradually slowing down, even as if nothing had just happened. In the dim darkness, they said nothing to each other, just quietly enjoying the brief peace after the storm of emotions. Jordan closed his eyes, his arms tightening around her as if he wanted to keep the last bit of warmth before everything disappeared. After a while, Bethany moved slightly. She leaned close to his ear, whispering in a hoarse but sweet voice, "You're amazing." Her words were like a light knife that passed through Jordan's mind, leaving a deep, incurable wound. He knew that he shouldn't hope for anything more, but how could he not miss her when every moment with her was deeply imprinted in his mind? Jordan's appearance turned Bethany's life upside down. Even though he didn't actively seduce her, he still made her sink deeper into the affair. Every time he got excited, Jordan couldn't think of anything but wanting Bethany to appear immediately to relieve his uncontrollable desires. He went to Bethany's house again. His appearance made Bethany burst into happiness. For days she had been dreaming about him, longing to be close to him. The two people rushed into each other and made love madly. This affair had sunk so deep that it was very difficult to break free. What woman who had been involved in an affair would automatically repent and turn back? When they got used to each other, they met more often. There was a time when Jordan stayed at her house for a whole week without coming back, just staying there to eat and rest, sharing joys and sorrows with Bethany. Every now and then, he helped her improve her relationship. It seemed that Bethany had forgotten that she had a husband. Because her house was in a field near the river, no one knew or discovered that she took care of Jordan like her real husband. They thought everything would go smoothly, but God always has eyes. One time, while they were cuddling on the bed, Bethany's husband and son suddenly came home. Both were so absorbed in making love that they didn't pay attention to what was going on outside. When the father and son returned to the yard, they discovered a pair of strange slippers in front of the door, suspecting something was wrong. Mr. High gently entered the door and heard strange sounds, like the sounds they often made when they came home. He rushed into the room, and as expected, he saw a naked man and a naked woman performing actions that made him heartbroken. He seemed to be unable to stand. His hands were weak. His spirit was in shock when he saw his wife being taken by someone else. The father and son rushed in to beat Jordan up, only stopping when he collapsed. Bethany panicked when discovered. Both of them received continuous blows to the face. It is not known whether those painful blows woke her up or not, but she knelt down all evening to beg Mr. High for forgiveness. She cried and struggled in despair. Jordan, after waking up, also knelt down to beg Mr. High to spare his life, and then was released. Perhaps that life-threatening beating left him with a lasting memory, and even if he was given more money, he would not dare to commit adultery again. Although Bethany was not knocked unconscious, she was still beaten enough to wake her up. She kept apologizing, hoping for forgiveness, but her trust was broken. Ladies and gentlemen, our story today will stop here. If you find this story interesting, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment about your thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next interesting stories. Each like, a share button, and a subscription from you will be the motivation to help Jane and the program production team create more interesting videos. And now, I would like to say goodbye and see you again in the next videos. Wish you all a wonderful day.